globalization is in trouble. Regional free trade doesn't stop. RCEP, the Regional Comprehensive Economic Partnership, comes into effect in January. How will China, Japan, South Korea, Australia, New Zealand, and the 10 ASEAN countries benefit from that?
Well, anything that allows more open markets and the rules and mechanisms to enforce that rules is in principle convenient and better for the countries participating. Of course, if the rules are good. Now, if you push me in the argument, what I would like to see now is all political capital apply to reinvigorate the multilateral trading system. I think we need a truly multilateral system. What has happened is that by opting for second best options like regional trade agreements, the attention to the multilateral system has been diminished. And now we are seeing the consequences because that system is significantly weakened. What I would like to see in the next round is to see the US, China, the European Union, Japan, Korea, Latin American countries reinvigorated to work for a truly open, non-discriminatory trading system that acquires again a mechanism of enforcement of the rules, because that mechanism of enforcement of the rules is now not in operation. The WTO has lost temporarily, I hope, is a dispute settlement understanding in the part of the tribunal that decides those disputes. And I think that's very unfortunate. So as a first step, countries should agree on how to put back in place the full implementation of the dispute settlement mechanism of the WTO. But of course, the agenda is very, very long in issues that are not yet looked after.
Well, if you focus on China a little bit more, China has submitted its application to join this CPTPP, Comprehensive and Progressive Agreement for Trans-Pacific Partnership. So from the view of Mexico, which is a member of this organization, what do you make of China's application to join this CPTPP?
Well, I cannot speak on behalf of Mexico. I can speak as an academic. And I would say that China's initiative should be taken very seriously. Of course, these things happen only through a process of negotiation. But I think it will be excellent if country members and China found ways to have China a member of this association.
Well, the topic of democracy, has been brought up a lot, especially by the United States, on many global and diplomatic matters. Most recently, the Summit for Democracy, hosted by Joe Biden in the U.S. As a former president who labored for the promotion of democracy in a country which is a very important neighbor of the U.S., how do you comment on this unusual rise of discussions on democracy over the past few years?
Well, this is not new. From time to time, there are these initiatives the intention is to promote democracy. And I think that's a good intention. But one has to wonder how it is done. I think it is very hard to, and probably not always good, to promote democracy from outside. I think democracy must be a national aspiration. You must build a national consensus. You must have national leadership to promote that democracy, because when political ideas are promoted from abroad, usually you get a negative effect. So I'm not terribly supportive of these kind of initiatives. I think what we must promote are the universal values that are in the UN Charter and also in the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. I think that's what we should be strong advocates, because on the other hand, I don't think any country has really, let's say, the total clean moral authority to promote democracy. I think you have to promote respect to human rights, respect to freedoms, respect to freedom of speech, respect to freedom of beliefs. But you don't have to tell countries, oh, be democratic according to my own standards. I think that is not terribly useful.